What's up?
Hi.
Yo,
Hello.
so many things.
Always.
So many things.
I don't know what's going on this time.
You don't know? Oh, I don't know what's going on this time either.
Oh.
I got all these new gadgets and buttons and things, and
Keep Batman.
I'm just saying. I wanna.
Well, I guess that's a good question. Has he seen the Batman that you watched the other day? The
Oh,
one with
the Robert Pattinson one. It's called The Batman.
have you seen it?
It's like 3 hours long. Shit's amazing.
Yes, it wasn't that good.
You lie. That was amazing. That was an amazing. That was an actual film. It wasn't even a movie. It was a film.
It was alright.
What's your number one Batman then? Don't tell me.
Well, give it to me.
Well, yeah, okay.
Don't do this to
Because
me.
that was the number one Batman.
I didn't say number one Batman. The movie's alright.
Wasn't I? It was awesome. I also
Yeah.
like binge watched every like DC movie that I've missed over the last like 5 years. So I'm very late to the party, but I still stand by it. That was a great film. Thank you.
Why didn't you like it compared to the other Batmans? Or why was it just okay?
It was too long for him. He had to like sit and pay attention. There was a storyline, and he had to follow the storyline. And the
The story
storyline
wasn't
got
the problem. I don't really care to see Batman's backstory again.
I liked it. Whatever, bro. Fine.
It was okay. You know,
I finally got to see Batman versus Superman too. I hadn't seen that one either, and I
fucking
didn't.
worse.
I didn't mind Ben Affleck. I don't know. I didn't mind him. It was all right.
It wasn't
I
him
liked
as
it,
an
but it
actor.
wasn't-
It was just a rushed movie.
Yeah, it was.
And they're like, "Oh my god, our parents have the same name, and we're best friends now. Get the fuck out of here."
Oh,
Okay,
God, you're
wait,
so
can I
cynical.
just say when he said, "Oh my god," it sounded like Bob from Bob's Burger. Oh my god. Oh my
True.
god.
A little bit. It did a little bit.
I was like, wait, what?
Don't judge
And
me.
then also, I have another question too. If this is like gray sweatpants season for men, do women have one of those? Or is that just summertime with like crop tops and stuff?
Didn't know there was a season.
Yeah.
Oh well,
This is gray sweatpants season for men.
I just kind of wear them whenever I feel like it, so I don't really have a season.
Oh no, there's a season. It's not. It's definitely not summer. We're out of summer. We're out of the fall. It's gray sweatpants season. Like, come on, let's go. But I don't think women have one though. I think it's just for women. It's summertime and you wear crop tops, right? That's the comparison.
I don't know. I feel like women are always in season. So
You're not wrong.
I feel like some women are always in season. You know, I know the big thing. Oh, sorry, am I yelling again? I always feel like I can't hear myself. I have to get closer to the microphone. The new thing is leggings without center seams to take away the focus of the camel toe. However, I feel like the no seam kind of highlights the camel toe. So for me personally, I'll keep the seams. I feel like the other ones just kind of highlight, you know. So
I wouldn't know anything about that, but I get it. I
So.
understand it. But you were also a person that hated the white shorts in CrossFit or the white like
God.
pants or leggings or whatever.
Yeah, but funny enough, I have had them before, and I think I might want to buy another pair.
Oh, so
So
Girl, you have railed against that color forever and ever and ever.
definitely the shorts. But I also think it's the way the shorts are. I just always never found shorts that didn't ride up.
you got the meaty thighs. It's your own fault.
Huh?
You got the meaty ass thighs. It's your own fault.
Wow. All right. Well, I didn't know we were just gonna jump. Well, I was talking about camel toe.
Yeah,
I guess we were just
there
gonna
you
jump
go.
into the
How about your thighs? I was not going that high. I was just saying. Your thighs flex, and then everything starts to move out the fucking way.
Yeah, so I have to get the longer shorts.
You have nice legs or pants that fit. You can't have both.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Well, let's go. Let's start off with this one because this one to me was just funny. And it's not giving me the
The present option.
yeah. What's up? going on? Oh, there we go. Okay. This to me was just hysterical, and I can't. It's just too funny.
We're looking at.
Best like dad joke ever.
Oh yes.
Oh God,
Have you seen this one?
I think I have.
It's so good.
Any men that could turn lesbians.
Why is Dwayne Johnson the only man who can turn lesbians? Why is that, like?
Because rock beats scissors.
The best part is the Rock's reaction.
He's
So
like,
a bit, but one more time, if you didn't hear the beginning, this woman is great too. I love her to death. She's so. I mean, it's just. She sounds like your mom is telling this joke, right? You know, so it's great that she's the one saying this joke because she's probably just a straight woman at home, raised her kids. Her kids are in college. She's at home with her husband, whatever. And she comes up with this joke, and his reaction to it is just.
Thank you.
Why is Dwayne Johnson the only man that could turn lesbians?
Why is Dwayne Johnson the only man who can turn lesbians? Why is that, like?
Because rock beats scissors.
So good. So good. And also true.
Oh man.
When I first saw it, I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, I could probably sleep with The Rock. It'd be all right. He might
Well.
think like it was but yeah, I mean, that man is, he's just an amazing man.
Oh.
Sorry. That's
I was waiting to hear where that was going.
That's too much, man.
a lot of man.
That's a lot of man.
That's a lot of man. But he
Attractive man,
might be the
As
only
well.
one that could turn a lesbian.
but
Not wrong.
that's a lot of man.
I always did wonder. Well, no, let me not get into that. I
Yeah, you can ask.
I always wondered why they. Oh, no, I won't go there. That's okay.
Mhm.
I'll let that go.
And Jeff got close, so
Hmm?
now.
Sorry.
I was gonna lean towards the scissors part, but I'll let that slide. I was very, but yeah, no, I love that. I love that lady. I thought she was great. She had a couple more jokes on that page. That Instagram is just hysterical.
Yeah.
I watch that Instagram all the time. They have the best dad jokes ever. So, but
That's hilarious.
I did see a very fun, well, it wasn't fun, but I did see a podcast about like whether it's better to have a mom and a dad in the household or two moms in the household.
Mm.
And it was the first one where I thought the debate was kind of even.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it was pretty, if you what?
Talk to myself. Sorry. Do you think?
Yeah. But it was very, they actually kind of agreed with each other a lot. It was just kind of like, if you have, like for us, for instance, with our son, if we have strong male role models for our son and, to be around, to go hang out with, to, whatever, everybody seemed to be on the same page with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if you didn't, females, like there was two dads, and they had twin daughters.
Oof. Poor
And
things.
they were, but the thing that interested me the most was that they were talking about how they had a village of women around them. Like the daughters had their aunts, their grandmas, all of the friends that they had around. And the question from the conservative side, which I thought was very interesting, and I don't know so much if I agree with it, was just, well, hey, they're not family. You know what I mean? Like we've always said that it takes a village to raise a kid, and to have a good, strong village around your kid is the most important thing. But I guess because it wasn't a family village, the conservatives were less happy with that. That was their thing.
Well, I think that goes back to what's your definition of a family?
Right.
What's your,
Can
is it a blood, like we talk about blood family and chosen family? and not many, there are people in this world that don't come from a good bloodline. They just don't. They don't have the good bloodline for whatever it is.
Well, I
you
mean,
know.
just that families that suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm
parents
saying.
that
Yeah.
that weren't ready to be parents, or
Right.
like
Yeah,
things.
cousins, whatever, and they don't have, a solid relationship with their blood family. They still choose their family too. You choose, I think when you become a parent, you choose anyone and everyone who gets the privilege to be around your child. And I think that you and I choose our family, our chosen family. It means a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we call you family, like that means a lot because you're around our kid.
Yeah.
So I think that goes back to what's the definition of a family? What's your definition of a family?
I thought the question for me after watching it that came out the most wasn't so much what, or the topic shouldn't have been, what family you choose or what village you choose, or there should be blood relatives or any of that. It was more or less, did you choose to have a kid? Did you make that active choice to have a kid? Were you in a circumstance where that was a possibility? Maybe you didn't, maybe you're married and you didn't choose to have that kid, and it just came out of the marriage and the love that you have for each other.
Mhm.
Okay, fine. You didn't necessarily, that wasn't the timing that you were thinking of, but it was born out of, your relationship, your love, your whatever. And so I think that if you didn't choose to have a kid, if it was a real oops baby, you're not married, you're not financially ready, you don't have a stable home, you don't, and it really was an actual oops baby.
Mhm.
I think that's harder to find the village, and I think that's more what conservatives are talking about, more so than you and me, who we absolutely planned to have our son. We were ready for it. We were doing all the research, going to all the doctors.
Mhm.
We had planned for that, right?
Mhm.
So we were ready for that. We had our village. We knew that we needed to have strong men around our kid. We, it was a choice.
Yeah.
I think that was more of the question than just should gay parents raise kids or should a mom and dad be in the household?
Yeah.
Because what they all agreed on was, if you have a strong father figure or a male figure, or you have a strong female figure around, in our case, our son, we have strong male figures around our son that he can access at any time, whenever he wants, that he feels comfortable with, that
Mhm.
he can go hang out with,
Mhm.
then that was fine.
Did they only talk in terms of couples? Was the conversation at all about like
Yeah, it was
single parents?
no,
Too?
it wasn't. It was about, there was a woman who, lesbian butch woman who was raising a son, who herself had been adopted.
Okay.
There was a man there who has a husband and are raising twin girls.
Mhm.
And there were they had a couple of like kids born in the Gen Z generation that were talking, either they had gay parents or they grew up in a traditional household.
Mhm.
And so they were speaking as well. But to me, the main thing that popped out at me was that they all agreed on the fact that if you have that opposite sex strong individual around the child, it was okay. It just, to me, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but to me, it came across, whereas like the conservative side was, what they really should have been saying was that you worry about the kids that are born into families that weren't ready for them, that didn't choose that it was, an accident, like, and that can't step up, that can't, that sort of thing.
But then wouldn't that mostly be for heterosexual couples? Because gay couples, we had, like you said, we had to plan for that.
Yeah,
We
that's
knew-
why I thought it was an interesting conversation, because it was,
Yeah, because is it more the argument about
I don't think that nobody was mad at same-sex couples raising kids
Mm-hmm.
as long as they thought about that. They thought about, like, we thought about the fact that our son needed strong male role models around him.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody seemed to be on the same page as that.
Yeah.
What was frowned upon by conservatives a little bit. I mean, they don't agree with our lifestyle or
Of
whatever,
course, of
but
course,
also
yeah.
too, I mean, one of the conservative males was raised only by his mom and his aunts. So he was raised mostly by women. He grew up in the salon, watching her get her nails done, watching her do people's hair and blah, blah, blah. And he wished he had a solid dad around to show him how to be
Yeah. Do
a
things.
man.
Yeah.
And I absolutely understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But what if he had uncles or cousins or teachers or coaches that were there for him to show him to be that father figure type or big brother type? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe he would have felt differently.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway from it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was kind of like, I don't know so much if conservatives feel like we shouldn't be raising children so much as, hey, are you prepared to have this kid and prepared to, do what's best in the interest of your kid?
Yeah. Create. If you don't have a village, are you willing
Because, I
to
mean,
create your village?
right, even if we had a girl, we would need to show her what a strong male looks like. We would still need to surround her with strong males to show her how she should be treated by men, how, the respect level between a man and a woman and things like, you would still need to do that regardless of, whether we had a boy or a girl.
Right.
Boy or a girl, you're still going to need strong male figures around your kid to show them how a strong male should be.
Yeah.
So
I also, I guess in some ways would kind of, I don't want to say disagree, but I guess maybe push back a little bit on this idea that every parent that decides to have a baby is ready to be a parent. We learned very quickly how difficult it is to be parents. And we were ready to be parents. We were ready to be parents. We wanted to have a baby. We, fought very long to get pregnant and, get through my pregnancy and deliver this baby. And I remember it vividly where we both got in the car, got home and was like, holy shit, this is our baby. So this whole idea.
yeah, man, I put the car seat in, ran to the fire department just to check to make sure that the car seat was in.
When the nurse came in and was like, you're good, you can go home. I was like, wait, what? I've only been here for a couple days. What do you mean? And I had grown up taking care of kids and babysitting, and I babysat my nieces when they were younger and grew up with them. And I was like, I can do this. I'm ready for this. Like, my mother had a babysitting daycare when I was younger. Like, I was around babies all the time. I was prepared for this. I was ready for this until holy shit, that's my own kid. So this idea that you're ready to be a parent, I think, is a misconception, because just like in a relationship, with a partner, you are constantly learning. You will constantly make mistakes. You will constantly do things that not everybody agrees with. The way that we parent is not going to be the way that this woman parents or that woman parents or that father parents or anything like that. We choose to parent our son the way that we choose to parent our son. But we are constantly learning every single day, with every milestone, with every challenge, with every new adventure, on how to be parents.
Yeah.
This world is constantly changing. We are learning how to be parents. So my question would be, what actually does qualify someone to be ready to be a parent? Because if you take that away,
yeah, I don't think there's a line on that.
I don't think there's a line on that. So, it would be almost like, was that conservative's mother unqualified to be his mother?
Yeah.
But it seems like she raised a really good kid the best way she could.
Yeah.
That's also the conversation too. We do the best that we can with the tools that we have. And if we choose to follow the generations and bring the tools that our parents gave us, or our extended family, our aunts, our uncles, our cousins, our, you know, friends of our parents, and we take that, and then they took it from their parents, and then they took it from their parents, and we pass it along. And if we choose to take every single tool exactly the way that our parents did it,
Yeah.
that's the best they could do. So then we have the option of either doing it exactly the same way or choosing to adjust with the world around us. And you and I very much take things that work from our parents and the people that were around us when we were growing up, your grandparents and your uncles and my uncles and my
And see
aunts
what
and cousins,
fits.
and see what fits with us. And also saying that it's okay that other things don't fit for us. It doesn't make our parents less than. It just, when you can get to that point where you can say they did the best they could. Was it perfect? No. Was it challenging? Yeah. Were there a lot of things that I had to work on? Yeah, I did. But every parent is going to do that, and every parent is going to experience that.
Yeah. I don't know. It was interesting. It was the first time that I had seen two sides almost kind of come together on, you know, be able to work it out and find a middle ground on it. And I thought I don't think you can't, obviously, there's no classification of whether or not you're ready to have a baby or not. You know, I mean, in some instances you would like there to be, just because you hear so much,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, people aren't ready. But I mean, do you ever know if you're ready? We were, you know, late 20s, early 30s. Did we know we were ready?
We thought we were
We
ready.
thought we were. And then
Mhm.
it was a big game changer when, you know, he actually got here.
Listen, I told you I was ready when we first got married, and you're like, I am
Am
not.
not.
I am not.
Nope. But also we took the time to set up the best surrounding that we could possibly have for him. You know,
Yeah, our
It-
marriage being the number one thing.
right. Our home, you know, we were pretty much okay, stable financially. And it just, and obviously the way that you and I have to have a kid is way more expensive than a traditional kid being made. So,
Right.
you know, it's, we had to be financially stable in order to do that. So I don't know if that argument, and obviously that argument always, it stems from the Bible, which I understand. I get it. I understand why that gets thrown around a lot.
Did
And
that part of the conversation come up at all?
yeah, there was a conservative mom
Mhm.
who, I mean, her argument was very much, imagine if all households, the majority of households were same-sex households, kids won't be made. Well, in my mind, I understand what she's saying, but obviously
We're proof that
it's
it's
not
possible.
well,
It's different.
no, not even that, but the majority is never going to be same-sex couples. It's not. There's always going to be enough, you know, heterosexual people out there to, they're always going to be the majority. It's
Yeah.
not, you know, it's, and so I get where she's coming from, and I'm assuming that stems from fear
Mhm.
a little bit,
Mhm.
but it's, that one was not that I don't agree with her. I don't disagree with her. I just think that argument's based on fear, and it's a fear that's not, to me, not necessary.
Yeah, because we could also talk about the fact that you have a lot of heterosexual couples that make the choice to not have children.
Yeah.
Not because they can't.
Right.
You know, there's no infertility stuff going on. Both healthy as can be, can have as many kids, probably, you know, some of the most fertile relationships in the world. And they're making the choice to not have children.
Yeah.
For whatever that means, for whatever that is, whether it's based on their careers, where if they just want to travel all the time, whether they don't want the responsibilities and the sacrifices that it takes to be a parent and raise kids, and, you know, and heterosexual couples are making that choice too. So part of the conversation is, I know that there's a fear around same-sex couples not having children, but I think it's the bigger fear surrounding that a lot of couples doesn't matter if you're a same sex or a heterosexual couple or whatever, that couples in general are not choosing to have children.
Yeah.
Whereas many years ago, traditions were you get married and you have as many kids as you can.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. But it's not the same anymore.
No, I think they're trying to bring it back. Like I think they're trying to bring that back and really advocate for, kind of to get rid of this this extreme feminism, like modern feminism. Like I think that there's really a push for that to go away, the extreme feminism, and to bring back traditional values for women. I'm not mad at it. I understand it. I for that part I can't. I haven't. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on it. I can't really tell if that's also born out of fear or if it's just a way that they're trying to protect women. Because I feel like that also, I feel like modern feminism isn't made to protect women. So that possibly could be a reason why this pushback.
So what do you think modern feminism is doing if it's not protecting women?
It's promoting, for me, it's promoting, it's all encompassing, right? Like it's promoting a lot of things that we don't even like. It's promoting, men and women's sports. It's promoting, like, hey, women can just go run around and do whatever and, expect a happy household. It kind of is promoting the toxic masculinity theory that is making men feel like crap. And that's also unfair. I feel like we can kind of get rid of this now. Like men aren't trying to be assholes. Men aren't trying to be, dudes are different. And everyone's going to yell at me and backlash and whatever about what they're going to backlash. Like, it's not just boys being boys. It's not just it. And it goes back to, I think, what we were talking about last night. Like, if there's bad people everywhere, there's going to be bad dudes places. There's going to be bad women places. There's going to be bad cops places. There's going to be bad teachers places. Bad people are bad people.
Mm-hmm.
Not all men are bad. And it, like, I feel like modern feminism promotes that all men are bad. Go do what you want, girl. You don't have to have conversations with your man. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to blah, 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 blah. So for me, it feels a little detrimental. The original goal of feminism doesn't feel that way so much. The original goal was just like, hey, if men can play soccer, women can play soccer too. If men
Right.
can be doctors, women can be doctors too.
Right.
Like that, I think is absolutely yes. This new stuff, I feel like it's just a giant pushback on this new. Because even Riley Gaines was just in the news again. The female swimmer that went up against Leah Thomas and lost, and she went in front of the Senate.
I thought she won.
Yeah, she did.
Or her
But
lawsuit, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I thought she won. Yeah.
but they were having a conversation. It's somewhere in there, and the female senator calls her transphobic, and she doesn't want to, yeah, you're transphobic. I don't want to listen to this transphobic stuff coming from you, and blah, blah, blah. And Riley Gaines was like, if I'm transphobic, then you're misogynistic.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
I don't know. She's not wrong, because again, it comes back to, it feels like an attack on women and children. And when you attack women and children, most parents, there's going to be a backlash to it. And it feels like the backlash is coming.
Yeah. And I think that, again, when we talk about it in a general statement, it's kind of hard to see, or I guess you kind of look at it as like black and white, like there's no gray area kind of
Mhm.
thing. But I also feel like that we don't take the time to actually talk to the individuals themselves, because I think that relationships come from the two people that are involved in a relationship. So, for instance, if a woman doesn't want to have a child because her partner that she's been with is unfaithful, we'll just use that example because that tends to be the thing. You know, she's making that choice because she doesn't feel like she's in a stable environment. So when you're not, and she's making the choice that because she doesn't feel like she's in a stable environment, that she doesn't want to bring a child into a stable environment. Does that make her a bad woman because she doesn't want to be a mother? Because she doesn't feel like she has a partner? But then you have the men, you have the good men that want to have relationships with women, and then you have the woman that doesn't feel validated enough from the man and needs to go find validation somewhere else constantly, because this world is all about validation and outside validation.
Yeah.
So there's temptations on both sides. So it makes sense. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it makes sense that there's a large majority of people, men and women, that do not want to settle down and have a relationship and then have a family. It's work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
I get that, and not everybody should. Not
Exactly.
everybody is meant
Yep.
for that. Not
Yep.
everybody is born for that, and
Mhm.
that's okay. It just, for me, again, just get out of everybody's business,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I want to say that I understand where the conservatives in that conversation were coming from. I get it.
Mhm.
Again, I think it's a little fear driven. I think it's a little religion driven, which I'm not mad at,
Mhm.
but it's not. If we're responsible parents and we're trying to be responsible parents, then I think that baby will be okay.
Mhm.
Just the same way that straight parents, if you're a responsible parent and you have a good foundation and you have a good village that you surround your kids with, uh, their friends, their coaches, their teachers, their, whoever's around them, that kid will be okay,
Mhm.
regardless of whether they have same-sex parents uh, or traditional parents.
Right.
Those kids will be okay, right?
Mhm.
But so much of this conversation, especially now, and again, like I said last night, we're not helping ourselves now.
Mhm.
There's so much going on that we're no longer helping ourselves. So whereas before, if someone had just said, "Hey, you guys are raising a boy, do you ever think about the male role models for him?"
Mhm.
Well, yes, actually, I do. I think about them a lot. It's very important to me that he has a a bunch of male role models that are in his life constantly, and not in and out, but just he sees them every day, and he can go to them, he can talk to them if he has questions that he doesn't necessarily maybe want to ask us when he hits 13, 14 years old, and
Mhm.
he would rather ask his coach or his like my uncle or your brother or what he can
Or Jeffrey.
or
Get ready.
Jeffrey, he can go do that. And
Oh, wait, what?
we can't hear you. You muted yourself.
I didn't say anything. What's happening?
Okay.
Oh.
No, nothing. Go away.
We were
I heard my name.
get
I
ready for
heard-
all the questions when Bubs turns 13 that we don't want
Listen, I already have enough questions.
Go away. So he can feel comfortable going to them and asking, right? And so I do that, and we do think about that stuff. Same thing if we had a girl.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You would still want male role models around her, but we've already come to this, and we've already decided this, and we have this. So to me, it's okay. If you're a responsible human being and you're a responsible adult and you're ready to have kids, whether you're same sex or not, to me,
Mhm.
you do the right things by your children. That's just
Yeah.
what you do as a parent. You
Yeah.
do the absolute best that you can. You try not to fuck up, but you're probably going to at some point.
Mhm.
And you just trying to keep being responsible. But kind of coming at and judging based on, I get it though. I get the fear in it. I understand it. I understand the fear of conservatives. I understand,
Yeah, and my question would be, what do you do if all of them? So we're two women, and we're just using us as an example. We're two women, and we have a son. What if the couple, a heterosexual couple, has a son, and every male blood relative, uncles, brothers, grandparents, or grandfathers? What if every male role model, blood role model in that boy's life, in that son's life, is an asshole? Beats his women, beats his wife, beats his daughters. And you're telling me that those men, those blood men, are the only men
that should be around
that
your
should
kid.
be
Yeah.
around your
'Cause
kid,
they're
and that are
blood.
showing him the way to be a man. That can be what you believe, but also understand that you are continuing the generational trauma to the son. And
Yeah.
then he's going to treat his wife the same way. And if they have a son, he's going to learn the same traits. So that would be more
Yeah.
my question. What if every single
That's why I felt like they missed the nuance of having a village for your kid and building that village for your kid. And that village doesn't just have to be blood relatives. You know what I mean? You surround them with the best possible people that you can,
right?
whether they're blood related or not, it's the best possible people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, in order to have a happy house, I believe, in order to have a happy house, and I'm basing this on you and I building our home together. We've been together for 12 years. We're building our home together. When you and I are the most connected and most happy, we have a really good house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for me, it's more important for that than this whole idea of like forcing specific traditions on people and forcing specific relationships with people.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how other marriages go. This might be controversial a little bit, but we always say that we put ourselves first as individuals to make sure that individually we're happy and healthy. Then we put each other first, our marriage, our bond, whatever, and then our child. Because if we're both okay, then our marriage is okay and our kid's okay.
Yeah, so I like to use the metaphor or whatever. And I'm pretty sure I got parts of this from, the work that I've done with different coaches and stuff like that. But I believe that a mother is the foundation of every home.
Yeah.
You and
you are that. And that's the other thing too, as a lesbian couple, and I'm the not birth parent, and you push that kid out, you are the mother. I firmly believe Mother's Day is for you. I firmly that.
I know. I try to do something for you on
I know,
Mother's Day, and you hate it.
And it's not because that's not. You know what I mean? I'm absolutely not. I'm his mom, and I love him, and I have that secondary parent relationship, that relationship where I didn't push him out. It's separate from the relationship that a kid has with their mother that pushed them out. And I'm not stupid to that. That's very much a real thing. That kid left his DNA in you.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean? Somewhere. Yeah, it's not. You know what I mean? It's And so the mother. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I look at it as the mother is the foundation of the house. If she's not strong, the entire house is going to fall down.
Yeah.
So a mother is the foundation of every home. I believe the relationship, whatever relationship you have, a partner, a spouse, a best friend, whatever relationship you choose to have, the most important person in your life, the most important connection in your life, that is the frame of the house. So the mother's the foundation, and what your most important relationship is the frame of the house. And
Yeah.
when the foundation is solid and the frame is solid, then you get to look through the window, and what do you see? The kids are running all
Right.
over the place. They are safe, they are happy, they are living. Life is just beautiful, and we get to see the world through our kids' eyes. And I didn't know what that was for a very long time. So when we had Bubs, I went through a form of postpartum where I could not separate from him. He was always first. He was the only thing that was first. I didn't matter. Our marriage went through ups and downs, you know, because he was the only thing that mattered. That was it. I couldn't leave him. When you came home, I wanted to take the stress off of you from being at work. It was so hard for me to go back to work. When I
Yeah,
finally went back
That's
to
right.
work,
Yep.
our son was number one.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to be like, well, it should be that way. It should be that way. No, I was drowning.
Yeah, you were falling apart.
I was drowning. I was falling apart.
Yep.
I was exhausted. I was losing weight. I was unhappy. I felt like I could not get my feet on the ground. I was irritable. I was short-tempered. I was triggered. I was all of those things because I put my son first.
Yep.
He was first, you know, and
I couldn't even help you. There's
I wouldn't
nothing
let
yeah,
you.
there's nothing I could even do to help you.
I wouldn't let you because we were trying to do the same thing. You were trying to, I was trying to take the pressure off of you and wanted you to be able to come home. You were like, I just want to connect with my kid.
Yeah, I wanted him.
You wanted to connect with
I was like, well, when
with
is
our
it?
kid. Yeah. And
So
it was because I put him first and I struggled so hard with that. And then it wasn't until I realized that I have to put myself first. I have to put myself first. And
Yeah.
selfish is not a bad word. Selfish acts are not always the best,
ooh, I like that. Yep.
but selfish is not a bad word. Selfishly, my sleep is important. Which meant that how old was he when he got in his own room?
Oh man, I threw
Quick.
him.
It was quick.
Yeah, I threw him in his own bedroom at like 3 months.
Right. So
Yeah, he was fine.
So selfishly, my sleep is important. Selfishly, exercise and fitness is important, which means selfishly, my time is important. And being alone on my own is also important, selfishly. I'm not out doing other things that I'm not supposed to be doing and blah, 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 blah. That's a different conversation. Like I said, selfish acts are not always great. But selfishly, I need to do all of these things because once I started doing that, I felt better.
Yep.
I had more energy. I wasn't so snappy. Our marriage continued to grow. And then Beatty's been the best that he has been when I started to separate myself from him.
And yeah, and I was able to figure out how to be a mom
Yep.
when you're not around.
Yeah.
You know, it was that quintessential, like the first day I was home by myself with the kid and I'm looking around like,
I'm not there.
well, you're getting this pacifier right now because my boobs aren't going to do anything for you because I don't got it, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, until mom gets home, and you needed that, and you needed to go out and you needed to do things for yourself. And I needed to be home figuring out how to be a mom by myself when you're not around.
Yep.
Because you gotta go back to work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's
Financially, yes, but most importantly, for my own sanity.
yeah.
That's really what it is. And it's not, you don't realize that until you
Have
become
adult conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I was swimming in fucking breast milk and shitty diapers and a baby that was constantly crawling all over me. Like,
Yep.
because he ate a ton.
Dude, that kid was humongous.
He was huge. And that was very important for me to, breastfeed. And we navigated a way where I would still pump so he could,
So I could feed him while you were gone,
Yeah, give
or
him a
wake up
bottle
for
and
you
stuff
or
and
whatever. Yeah.
whatever. But like,
It took you a while to let me do that though.
I know.
So
Because again, I wanted you to sleep. I wanted you to sleep. I knew I was going to be home in the morning with him, but you had to get up and go to work. So I needed to do that because that was my job as
And it's funny, right? Because I never said that.
no,
I never told you that.
absolutely not.
That never came out of my mouth. He would just wake up, cry, and you would be like, "Here, give them to me."
Mhm.
And so I did.
Listen, our biggest challenges when we became moms was because we were trying to do the same thing. You were trying to help, and I was trying to help.
Yeah.
And we could never get on the same page.
But I think that would, and I don't know, at some point I'll probably have to ask a straight couple somewhere, but I feel like that's kind of the natural progression of things. I don't think things were different just because we're a same-sex couple, right?
No.
You know what I
no.
mean? I feel like I had to learn too. Hey, I was not important to that child until he was actually mobile by himself, and the only thing he wanted was you and your boobs.
Mhm.
That was it.
Yeah.
I didn't become important later until he started eating solid food a little bit and could move and mobilize and wanted to go do things with me and whatever. So the only thing in my mind was, hey, I have to take care of his mother
Mhm.
right now so that she's okay, because all he wants is her for the first 8 months.
Yeah.
You know, so
I mean,
And-
I think you'd agree with me on this. I think it also has a lot to do with what the birth mother is carrying. I had a lot of trauma that I was working through. I had a lot of past history that I was working through. I had a lot of value and worth issues that I was working through. I had a lot of fear. You know, it took us so long to conceive him. And
Yeah.
there was a point where we thought we were never
well,
going
that's
to
a
have
whole
kid.
nother topic
Yeah.
is infertility.
Yeah.
And that happens again also with every couple.
With every
It
couple.
could be anywhere. It could be
Yep.
in any that, you know, and we were, you know, blessed enough to get him, but it was 2 years of a lot of ups and downs, a lot of emotional, heavy things.
Mhm.
And so of course that weighed on you.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you peed on the stick and you're like, it says pregnant,
I'm like, no, I'm not.
yeah, I'm jumping through the roof calling everybody under the sun. You're like, please don't call anybody.
Don't
I
call
haven't.
anybody.
But you
And
were
you made me. We called a couple people, and I was like, we're telling them something that's not true. And you're
You're
like,
like,
but you've
I'm-
never had a false positive.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't believe it because there had been so many no's.
yeah.
You know, and for us, that was our last try. Because, you know, in the beginning of trying to conceive, when you had asked me that question, if I would be okay with us never having kids, I was very hurt by that. Like, how could you say that? It's gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean of course we're gonna have children? You know, and then it got to the point through the roller coaster of infertility or whatever, where we got to the end and we had one vial left. And I was like, I need a break after this.
Yeah.
And I looked at Joe and I was like, you know what? I think I might be okay not being a mom because I don't want to feel like this anymore.
Yeah.
So
And
I was,
And also too, there was a lot of hormones you were on.
yeah. I mean, I didn't have to get on the shot.
Not the shot, but
But
I
pills.
mean, you
I was
were,
on
yeah,
a very high dose of Clomid to try
yeah,
to get
Clomid,
pregnant.
that was it. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So, I mean, your mood was up and down and all over the place, and every month on the same week, it's a crushing blow to
The
see
super
the
high.
getting ready, thinking you're going to be pregnant when you get inseminated, and then when you take that test and it's I got my period or it's a no, that's a super low.
Yeah, and it was to points where I couldn't get off.
And
the
I didn't want to
couch.
see you like that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to see you on that emotional roller coaster every single month.
Yeah. Yep.
So but
But the point being is that many couples go through that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you are gay or straight. We go through a lot of the
or
same
even just a
things.
single woman that never found their partner but
Yep.
wants to be a mom.
Yeah.
Like that's also
That
a
is
thing.
also the beauty of the possibilities that we have now, is that we give women that right to be a mother, even if they don't have a partner. You know what I mean?
There's so many moving parts to this conversation, especially like I felt like that debate left a lot of things uncovered, but I get how they had to stay on track and keep the conversation moving. We could go off in 85 different directions on this. But for me personally, I guess that's one conservative view that, yeah, I mean, I'm still conservative, but I don't, if you're just going to be a good parent and you're going to, you know, think about what's best for your kid and think about what's best for your home and your foundation, to me, you can be a parent, same sex, traditional household,
Mhm.
single mom. Like if you plan it out, my mom was single mom, and the
Mhm.
best thing that she ever gave me was my family.
Mhm.
I had a whole village.
Mhm.
So even when she couldn't be there for me, everybody else was.
Right.
And I mean, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I had some shit, but I'm fine.
Mhm.
Like we're
Yeah.
moving, we're rocking and rolling, we're figuring it out
Yeah.
day by day.
That's also
So
the beauty of it, and I think that for us, you know, village is even like 10 times more important now, finding out that baby's on the spectrum,
yeah,
and having not only his inclusive family, but also having his, special needs family.
yeah,
And because it's not only just for him, but it's for us as parents too. I've connected with a lot of moms that are just being able to be on, um, a Zoom call or a connection call or seeing them in public and whatever, and having a statement that some people might look at us and be like, how could you even say that? But some days it's like, I just wish my kid wasn't autistic.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not because I'm a bad mom, and it's not because they're a bad mom or whoever in the conversation said it. But little things like sometimes, Beatty is such a picky eater. Some days I just wish he wasn't a picky eater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not.
But that's even just like saying, like, if your kid has ADD, it's
Yeah.
not bad to be like, oh my God, I just wish this kid would sit down.
Yes.
It's not like you dislike your kid or don't love your kid.
Right.
It's just, oh my
Mhm.
God, I wish this kid would sit for 5 seconds.
Exactly.
That's any kid.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. There's a,
And it's just, my point being is that a village is not a bad thing. And I used to always just say that it takes a village to raise a child. But I
it
also,
takes a special village to raise a child.
yes, it takes a special village to
Yeah.
raise a child. And I think it takes a sisterhood to be a mother.
Yeah.
Or a brotherhood to be a father.
Yeah.
I think that it takes people that have walked similar paths as you to be able to navigate this world. And I also think that in the village, you also need to have friends that maybe are in a different part of their journey right now and don't have kids and don't, not saying that I can hang out with them all the time because I have a 6-year-old.
You kind of need to see some of your own life experiences in the person that you're talking to, right? So
Yeah.
even I'm not gonna pretend that I know what it's like to give birth to a kid and breastfeed and I didn't do that.
Mhm,
So I know that you need other people to go talk to.
mhm.
Also, I'm a parent that didn't give birth, so I'm gonna go talk to the dudes I know
Right.
and the people that I know that
Mhm.
weren't birth moms.
Yeah.
And
Like, what do I do?
what happened?
How do I navigate
Or
this
I fucked
part?
up.
Yeah.
Help. I fucked up.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
and that's okay. And it
Yeah.
just, but yeah, this is gonna, I feel like the next 6 months is gonna get super interesting with all of this if it hasn't already. I mean, it kind of has already, but I think that the pot's gonna start to boil over in a
Well,
hot minute.
I think too, when you hear the word, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or if you don't feel the same way, but I feel like when you hear the words tradition, it's a very high expectation.
What do you mean, like traditional families or
Traditional families, traditional parenting, traditional roles. It's like this expectation is.
I think it's a trigger word for the left.
Mhm.
It doesn't bother me. I'm happy to hear about traditional roles, traditional family, traditional religion. I'm not mad at anybody who doesn't have that. We are not a traditional family, so obviously
Mhm.
it's not like I'm, bashing against non-traditional families. But I think a little bit of normalcy, a little bit of kind of slow things down a little bit, and it wouldn't be a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that the left will take it as a bad thing,
Mhm.
but I don't personally think that it is.
Yeah. I just wonder if, because that word, a traditional family again was like the checklist is how I call it. Like, it has to be this, has to be a man and a woman, it has to be this many kids, it has to be the woman is at home, it has to be the man's never home, it has to be this, it has to be that, whatever. And I think that the difference now is that families are creating their own traditions and their own expectations and their own things that make sense to them, because at the end of the day, we all want one thing and don't want something else. When you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. You know what I'm saying? Like a stay-at-home mom that wants to be a stay-at-home mom is saying no to a career. Most of them. Now, mind you, there's stay-at-home moms that have side hustles and whatever.
Yeah, but people would call that traditional. A stay-at-home mom would be considered a traditional. That's a traditional household.
Right. But what I'm saying is that for another family, they're creating their own traditions of maybe the mother really wants to work. So in her house, her traditional roles, or is that not the same thing?
See, but this is funny though, and this is where we get muddy, is that now this is what I was talking about before, which I didn't articulate too well, but the this modern feminism
Mhm.
is telling moms that staying home with their kids and being a stay-at-home mom is not traditional. It's not acceptable. It's not like, that's not what we're doing.
Mhm.
So now the traditional norm has been mothers are running around all over the place, working 40 hours, 60 hours a week. They're not home with their kids. Their kid, like, so now the tradition is moms don't stay home.
Mm.
And now mothers are railing back saying, I want to stay home with my kid and there's nothing wrong with me staying home with my kid.
Oh, so it's almost like, okay.
Yeah,
maybe
so
I'm
it's
getting
swinging
it's,
back.
It's
We-
defending the traditions that stay-at-home moms
Yeah.
want to be traditional.
We told
mothers.
women, like, go out, do everything, be everything, take care of everything, take care of your man, take care of your kids, go have a career, go do all this stuff,
But also come home and make
but
sure that
also
my
come
house.
home. Yeah. And whatever. And now moms are like, hey, my husband's out doing what my husband's out supposed to be doing. I just want to be home and be with my kids and make dinner and be there when they get off the bus or homeschool them or whatever they want to do with them.
Mhm.
They just want to be home with their kids. But modern feminism is telling them that they're wrong and they're bad women for that. So the tradition has shifted somewhere along the way where the tradition is no longer a stay-at-home mom. Like my grandmother used to go to work for fun. Like
Mhm.
she'd go to work for 5 hours or 4 hours or something and hang out in the deli and work. Obviously, I mean, she worked. It wasn't like hang out, but
Yeah.
she was home for me when I got off when I got home from school. She was at all my games.
Yep.
It wasn't. But now they're telling women that if you stay home, you're being a bad woman.
Oh.
I mean, if you stay home, you're being a bad woman.
Oh.
You should be out in the workforce. You should be making a name. You should be the CEO of some shit. You should.
Well, I think that's taking away choice of what fulfills the mother and what the mother wants.
Yeah, but that's the thing, was they're getting shamed for it, for doing it.
Well, that sucks.
Oh, you get to just stay at home. Must be nice. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, probably is really nice. Probably is really nice to be home with your kids.
Yeah, but do you also know how exhausting that is too?
It's not like it's
someone did something where they added up all the roles that stay-at-home moms take and do, and how much they would have to pay somebody else.
I'm not saying that it's not hard. I'm just like, being a stay-at-home mother, like, yeah, I get it. I know that it's hard and whatnot. I've seen your face after you've been home like for 3 days with our son. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna go out now. Bye, babe. We'll see you later. I get that, but it's just, for me, it's the fact that they're getting shamed for it. If they want to be home with their kids, then you shouldn't get shamed for that.
Yeah.
That was my my whole thing.
And that was also my point, where it's like, if you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to the other, and it's okay that you're choosing to stay at home.
Yeah.
You and I have.
It's okay that women go to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not shaming women for going to
No.
work, but let's not shame the women that want to stay home and be with their children.
No,
and be there for their husband or whatever.
Exactly.
Whatever that Susie Homemaker thing is, that people are like, oh my God, you stay home. You make sure your man's okay. You make sure your man's good. Whatever. Don't do that. Blah, blah. He don't deserve that. You don't know. If that's her thing and that's her
also,
life,
that's also why relationships are not as good as they could be. Because at the end of the day, I want to take you and the baby are the two most important people to me. I'm very fortunate in my job and in my career that I choose to do, that I have flexibility in my career. And we've gotten to the point where I've been able to do that because I need to be available for you or for him whenever I need to. That's important to me.
Yeah.
And it's taken me a long time to give myself permission for that. It doesn't mean I don't work. It doesn't mean that I'm not passionate about my job and helping people live better, healthier lives. That's still important to me, but it's not the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
The most important thing is for you and him. So yeah, me coming home and making sure that dinner is done for you or for him, or picking him up and dropping him off and being, available in the afternoon for whatever he's doing. I joke the boys got a bigger social life than you and I put together, but that's also our fault.
Yeah.
But that's what's important to me. That's what's important to us, and I think that shaming people like that, I think, is also the reason that a lot of relationships don't last.
Oh yeah.
Because it's this whole thing about like, well, you do this for him. What is he doing for you?
Yeah. It's
Kind of thing.
the battery in your back, people.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you and I are good,
Yeah.
but interesting.
It's that, like I said, I really do think that the pot's going to start to boil over soon. So,
Unfortunately, I
yeah,
think it is
I
a
know.
lot. And
I mean, it kind of needs to. It needs to correct itself a little bit, but
yeah, but is there a fear that if it corrects itself, that it could, I don't know if I should say correct itself too much?
yeah, absolutely. That's the absolute fear from the left. That's why they're fighting so hard. Is they're afraid that the overcorrection is going to take every single right they've ever had away, which is not the case at all, and no one's saying that.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, that's the absolute fear.
Because technically, couldn't it take away our
Sure,
relationship and our marriage
it's not going to take away our relationship, but
or
it
our
could,
marriage?
our legal government marriage. Yeah, I could take away that, but
Mhm.
like at this point, so what? You know what I mean? It would suck, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want that. But with the rate that they're swinging so far to the left, it's, I mean, for me, I would have to deal with it because I
Mhm.
can't go this far left anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
So you don't think it would be a thing where, like, I mean, the government is already starting to get involved in a lot of stuff?
they throw the fear base out that we're never gonna have drag shows anymore. That's not what anybody's saying. Have drag shows. Drag shows are freaking great. Just don't bring them to schools.
Yeah,
Right.
but I'm talking about like relationship wise. Like, is that something that the government could get so involved with that it could become a fear of you and I like walking down the street together again?
No,
You don't think it'll ever get back to that?
Well, I mean, they want you to be afraid of that, obviously, because if you're afraid of that, then you're going to vote left.
Mhm.
But we've all been gay for however long. We just talked about this. We're that next generation that nobody cares
Mhm.
that anybody's gay. Nobody
Mhm.
cares that anybody is drag. Nobody cares that anybody's trans. Nobody cares anymore.
Mhm.
But because they want whatever this far left crap is, just want to put the fear of God in you to the point where you're going to have no rights left ever.
Mhm.
So we have to do all this weird, crazy shit. And then you do it because you freak out. And it's like, oh, I'll never get to hold hands with my wife again. I'll never get to walk down the street with my wife again. I'm going to go through all the crap that I went through in the 70s.
Mhm.
Well, if they keep pushing this shit so far to the left, that actually might happen because people are going to be so fed up that they're just going to be like, I don't even want to see this anymore.
Mhm.
So it's, I mean, it's a fear thing and everybody's afraid, and it's not. And even the don't say gay thing in Florida, it wasn't don't say gay. That wasn't what it is. If you actually go look it up, that's not it. It wasn't, hey, you can't be gay anymore.
Mhm.
But that's what they made us all think.
Right.
It's exactly what they made us all think.
Mhm.
And so we jumped on the bandwagon about it. But that's not what they were saying. It was, hey, kids don't need to know this shit in school.
Yeah. Mhm.
it's this not our job to teach these kids this stuff in school. That's all it was saying.
Yeah.
But
Well, Jeffrey, you shook your head no. I wanted you to explain yourself.
Oh, I was just listening to you talk. No, I don't think we're gonna go that far back.
You don't.
No, I don't think we can go that far.
Why not?
Like Garrett said, no one cares that everyone's gay. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can't go that far back unless they're like being gay is some sort of like deadly thing. I don't fucking know, some weird thing they should have spin.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they would need to like go backwards with it.
it's not.
But you can't go back anymore. It's already too much gay that's gone around to not be
You've
that
accepted it already.
Mhm.
writing thing.
People might not agree with you. People might not want to bake your wedding cake, which is totally fair.
True, and then
People
people
not
don't want to get you married or
Making
whatever the hell they
website-
want to
yeah,
do.
Fair. People are not all people are gonna like us.
Mm-hmm.
Fine,
Mm-hmm.
not a big deal.
But leave the kids alone and maybe teach them, useful shit they can use in the future, not,
I mean,
how you identify today.
I would just be happy if they would teach them cursive. Do that. How about that? I'll be okay
No,
with that.
they won't do that.
So,
I mean, Beatty knows how to write cursive, so.
but yeah, no, it's gonna be a fair thing, and it's gonna be for a while. So, we'll catch up with that eventually. But yeah, we started the conversation. That's what we do. Start the conversation. So,
Sounds good.
all right, love you guys. Deuces.
Have fun. Bye.
Bye.